5 members of the French Parliament from different political forces signed an appeal to the head of the country's defense department, Sebastien Lecornu, in which they called for the creation of a European coalition to send military instructors to Ukraine. This information was voiced by Deputy Frederic Petit on his page on the social network X. The deputies stressed the importance of training Ukrainian troops in France. The fighters trained by the French army or the armed forces of other European countries gain experience that will be decisive on the battlefield. Therefore, we call on you to send French military instructors to Ukraine, the parliamentarian said. The appeal states that the French armed forces, together with the armies of Great Britain, Poland and the Baltic and Scandinavian countries, can play a key role in this coalition. The emergence of such a coalition would demonstrate to the Kremlin regime the decisive determination of its Western allies to continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russian aggression, the parliamentarians note. Earlier, media reported that French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot did not rule out the possibility of sending French troops to Ukraine and called for not creating red lines in the issue of supporting Kiev. According to the minister, Kiev may use the aforementioned weapons for self-defense purposes. At the same time, the head of French diplomacy did not specify whether the Ukrainian army had already used these weapons to strike the Russian Federation. Journalists consider Barrot's statement about Ukraine using French missiles to strike Russia to be significant, since it came a few days after the Ukrainian Armed Forces first hit targets in Russia with similar American and British missiles. Barrot noted that Western allies should not set any red lines in the issue of supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russian aggression. The minister promised to support Ukraine for as long as it takes and stressed that all of European security is at stake. Meanwhile, it became known that France is accelerating the delivery of Mirage fighters to Ukraine. This was announced by Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelenski after a telephone conversation with his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron. I highly appreciate that France understands the challenges we face, the Ukrainian president said.
خنازير أعداء الله على أساس نشيلوا المهتمين الصور أعداء الله خنازير. هذا الكلب الخنزير المجرم أعداء الله الخنازير الكفار المرتدين هو أعلام الخنازير. حزب الشيطان عندك وين تحتك انتبه. يا خميني في الزبد نزل في الجورة هاي كلبها. جيب لي هو جيب ليها هيك وقت. أعداء الله خنازير. خنازير أعداء الله على أساس نشيلوا المهتمين الصور أعداء الله خنازير. هذا الكلب الخنزير المجرم أعداء الله الخنازير الكفار المرتدين هو أعلام الخنازير. حزب الشيطان عندك وين تحتك انتبه. يا خميني في الزبد نزل في الجورة هاي كلبها. جيب لي هو جيب ليها هيك وقت. أعداء الله خنازير.
Thousands of people continued to cross back into Lebanon from Syria on the second day of the ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, after nearly 14 months of fighting. At the Jauzi border crossing in the Qusair area of Syria's Homs province, on Lebanon's northeastern border, bumper-to-bumper cars lined up waiting to be cleared for crossing. All 4 lanes were occupied by cars making their way into Lebanon, forcing those wishing to cross into Syria to navigate off-road paths. We have been in Syria since September 23, we had to leave our jobs, our homes and our loved ones because of the war, said 54-year-old Hassan Flitty. The dairy shop owner is now going back to Lebanon with his wife and 2 children. I am happy that there is a ceasefire and there is no more destruction. You are not afraid anymore of the airstrikes to hit. Out of the 6 border crossings between Lebanon and Syria, only 2 functioning crossings remain between the countries, which share a border 375 kilometers long. Families packed into vehicles with suitcases, mattresses and blankets. Children clutched backpacks, some wrapped in blankets, as they made their way back to Lebanon. The mood was mixed with relief and sorrow, as many returnees faced the grim reality of returning to their homes that might be destroyed. Among those returning was Fatima Abbas, who had sought refuge within Syria. The return is bittersweet. It is best feeling, but at the same time there is mix of feelings of happiness and sadness. There is a pang in my heart for the Sayed and the martyrs who are gone, but thank God, we are happy for the victory, and we also pray for our brothers in Gaza for victory as well. On the first day of the ceasefire, more than 2,000 people crossed into Lebanon, a Syrian security official at the Jawzi border told the Associated Press. On Wednesday, more than 4,000 crossed back into Lebanon and the number continues to rise.
كثير كانت استقبالنا بسوريا كثير حلو ومريح. ما حدا زعجنا.
هويات يا زلمه بس خليها في الضغط. وين هوياتك؟
أنا من 23/9 نزحت على سوريا بسبب الحرب. نزحنا ونزلنا على سوريا، صرنا 63-64 يوم بسوريا. تركنا شغلنا وتركنا أعمالنا وتركنا بيوتنا كرمة الحرب والعدو الغاشم، وكنا نشتغل، يعني كنا نشتغل محلات ألبان وأجبان وتجارة. توقف شغلنا، صرنا شهرين وشوي موقف شغلنا.